You're taking your money and you're buying a piece of the store company. That way, as stores make more money, so do you. It's essentially a way for you to stop being just a consumer and spending all your money to make everybody else rich, and for you to start being a producer. That way, now when companies make money, you are one of the people that's benefiting, because if the company makes more money, so do you. With real estate, it's a little bit different. With real estate, you own something physical and tangible. Because when you invest in stock, you just get a paper certificate saying that you own shares of a company. Or if the company is bust, then you own nothing. Real estate, on the other hand, when you buy a property, you own land, you own a building, you own bricks, you own windows, so you own something that you can see, hear, and touch, and it creates income, because if you buy a property, you can have a family living there, and they'll pay the rent every single month and living in the property. So now you own something real that you can see and feel, and you're creating income, and the whole hope is, if you're buying a property in a good area, the property value is going to go up, and so will your rents. So you're creating income, and you own something physical and tangible. Stocks and real estate are both good investments. I have my money in both. I prefer real estate just because I like the income that I can achieve, and I like the idea of owning something real, but I also have money in the stock market. And so you gotta really just figure out what your goals are and what helps you. The fourth place your money needs to go is asset protection, because as soon as people realize you have money, they're gonna try to take their hands and put it in your pocket and take some of your money and keep it for themselves. You don't want to let that happen. That's why you want to put up a shield, asset protection, to protect yourself and your family. Now, while I am an attorney, I'm not your attorney, so if you have specific legal questions, make sure you talk to a professional in your area. First thing you gotta do is you gotta ask the estate plan. The whole idea behind this is, if you're building wealth, you're gonna have money. And when you die, you gotta know where this money is gonna go, because if you do not tell this money where to go, then your family is gonna be fighting for who gets the money. If you wanna avoid those fights, plan ahead, do some estate planning. There's a couple things you can do. You can get a will, you can get a trust. It's going to depend on what your financial situation is and what is better for you. But the whole idea behind a will and a trust is you need to tell your money after you die where your money is going to go. If you don't do this type of estate planning when you're alive, then the government's going to come in and they're going to decide where your money should go. You never want the government to decide where your money should go. So
I'll be the beacon that guides Necrokeep through the dark.
You also got to protect your assets by having insurance. Nobody likes paying for insurance, but insurance is a small price you pay today to protect you against a big headache in the future. This is going to be things like car insurance, health insurance, home insurance, life insurance. I know it's not fun to pay for all of these things, but if something bad were to happen to your car, your home, your health, your life, then your insurance company would come in and they would pay you or your family a big check. And your family
For the fall.
things like car insurance, health insurance, home insurance are pretty obvious, because if your car burns down, your house lights on fire, and the insurance company is going to come in and they're going to give you a check to go out and buy a new home or a new car. But life insurance isn't always straightforward. The whole idea behind life insurance is, if you die within your life insurance period, then your life insurance company will give your family a big check. That way, at least your family will be able to survive financially, even if you're not there, because the last thing you want is for you to be the breadwinner for your family and that you're no longer there and your family cannot survive anymore without you, so they have to put up a GoFundMe page to raise money to pay for your funeral costs and to pay for your basic living costs. The good news about life insurance is it doesn't have to cost you a whole lot of money. If you're a healthy 30-year-old guy, you can get $1 million life insurance policy for less than $1 a day. The fifth place your money needs to go is in your education, even if you think you're done with school. Growing up, I always thought that education meant school. Nowadays, for me, education means everything outside of the classroom. One of the easiest ways to fast track your financial success is just to keep learning. Because the more you know, the more you can do. My education comes from 5 different places: books, classes, experts, experience, and mistakes. I'm not a big fan of actually reading books, but I go on a 5-mile walk, or I try to go on a 5-mile walk every morning, and this takes me about an hour and a half. And during my walk, I like to listen to audiobooks. I buy quite a few online classes. Some of them help me personally, and some of them help our business grow. You can learn from experts on YouTube or podcasts, or you can hire consultants. When it comes to learning from experience, one of the core values of the minority mindset is fast is better than slow. The whole idea behind that is, instead of spending all of your time thinking about what to do, go out and learn from whatever you're doing. And even if you make a mistake, which is the fifth way I learned, you can learn way more from your mistakes than you do your successes. I made a video on YouTube where I talked about my worst real estate deal ever. That was the only property I ever lost money on, but that money that I lost was really just like tuition into real estate investing, because I learned so much about investing in real estate. Learn as much as you can by reading books, watching YouTube videos, and that's it. but it's never going to replace experiential learning. You have to go out and you got to just put yourself out there, because you're always going to run over hurdles that other people have not, and you got to figure out how to overcome them. The sixth place where money has got to go is your health, and this isn't what most people think about when you think of health. If you've ever heard me talk about my quadrific triangle, I believe that there are 4 fitnesses in life, 4 places that you need to be fit if you want to live a happy and successful life. The bottom is physical fitness, then mental fitness, then spiritual fitness, and at the very top, it is financial fitness. If you want to invest in your health, you need to be investing
Mind your
in
steps,
physical health,
visitor.
your mental
The
health,
necrokeep
and your
is
spiritual
cold
health.
and
Everything
hostile.
else is about your financial health. Starting at the bottom with your physical health, invest in good food and a gym membership or some workout equipment. Look, I'm not a doctor. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But the best medicine is being proactive and taking care of your health. I know you're working hard to get that bonus and feed your family and go on that vacation, but you gotta take care of your body too, because this is the only one you got. Second is your mental health. If you are not happy, it does not matter how much money you have. It does not matter how successful you are. You will never be able to if you have this anxiety, this depression, you are not happy, get it taken care of. Go into therapy, get some counseling, go into rehab. Whatever the cost is, live with yourself, and it does not matter how successful you are, because your mind is going to be holding you back. So take care of your mental health, because that is going to be a pillar for the success of your whole life. The third part of this is your spiritual health. When I say spiritual health, I don't just mean religion, but it's really, what is your purpose? Do you really feel like you're on this earth to help underserved people? If it is
a
go out
blessing
and
to
give some of your
bloom
money to charity,
and to
or go
wither.
give some of your money to your purpose. Figure out what it is that's driving passion, that wakes you up every single morning, and put some money into it. Because if you do not feel fulfilled, if you do not feel like you have a purpose, then you're going to have no reason to get out of bed every single day. The seventh place your money needs to go is to your family. Now, when I say your family, I don't mean that when your cousin Bunty goes and blows his money at Gucci, and he goes and asks you for another $2,000, and you just give him this money. I mean taking care of your family. You know, when you're on your journey to build wealth, you're going to do whatever you can to invest every single penny you can, because money invested is going to be able to make you a whole lot more money in the future. And as you do that, you're going to have to make sacrifices. You don't get that nice car, maybe you don't get that new home, maybe you don't want that vacation right now. But as you really start to build this financial foundation and this financial
Tears
wealth,
and laughter.
reward your family.
Such
Take your
extravagant
family and your
prices.
kids on a nice vacation. Buy your spouse something nice because of what they put up with. I know, it's hard, building wealth. You gotta make sacrifices. But as you start to see the success, don't just live frugal in the sense that you never enjoy your money for the rest of your life. Money only has value if you spend it. And support the people that support you. As you start to build your wealth, make sure you take care of your family too. People are spending $400 on an umbrella when they have no job. They're going to get credit card debt, buy lottery tickets, some cases buy lottery tickets. Then they're praying to get approved for a store credit card so they can save 15% off of their order, and now you're wondering why you're broke. 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That means if you walk out of your house right now, and you look down the street, and you look at your neighbors, 8 out of 10 of your neighbors don't have a couple $1,000s in their bank account right now to protect them from a emergency. It doesn't matter where you live. This is the reality of what's going on.
Such a painful
The
goodbye.
majority of people are broke. I know this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, but there's a lot more to this than just how much money you make. I've talked about people like Earl Crawley on our YouTube channel who make minimum wage and yet have built a multiple six-figure investment and savings account
I'll be the beacon that guides
while living a
Necrokeep
life.
through the
And
dark.
on the other hand, I've also talked about people like Henry. Remember, Henry's rich yet there's a movement of people that make at least 6 figures a year that are broke because their goal right now is not to make money or invest.
The silence of Necrokeep is too cold, too loud.
Look rich. This is where the vast majority of people become offended, and they put up the smoke screen and they say things like, "Oh, you shouldn't talk about something like that. You shouldn't worry about money." In reality,
You
we all
destroy
need
the
money
turret.
every single day. If money really didn't matter, then why are you going to work every single day to get a paycheck? Now, I get it. There's a lot more to life than money. Okay, money is just one small aspect of our life. But if you don't understand money, and if you don't have money, you become a slave to money, because now you're drowning in debt and you have all these payments that you can't afford. So you're going to work every single day, not to enjoy your life, not to do something fulfilling, but just so you can make
I need to tend to
but
my
if you
people.
understand money and you you know how to use money, and you can grow your money, now you can build your wealth. Now you can take care of yourself and your family financially, and you have more money to help other people and to help your community because you have the resources to do that. If you're broke, you don't have the resources to help other people. When you're broke and you're drowning in debt, the only person that you're helping is your bank, because you're paying these insane rates on money that you borrowed to buy things that you didn't even need. So many Americans put a lot of weight on luck when it comes to success. And I'm speaking strictly financial success. They see somebody who's become wealthy or rich, and they say, oh, this person must have become wealthy. They must have inherited the wealth, or they must have investments or whatever. Luck is a reason. If that was the case, why is it that 80% of millionaires are self-made? These are people who did not have millionaire parents. These
There
are
are
people
memories
who created the
time
millions
does
themselves.
not erase.
9 out of 10 millionaires out there that are millionaires made it themselves. This is where you can say, oh, they had an advantage, or they had this, or they had that. We can spend the rest of our lives looking for advantages that other people had as to why
I
they
was
could become
supposed to marry
successful.
him.
Or you can
And
spend
this
that same
gown.
time understanding how to use the money the right way, that way you can build your wealth, because there's a system to understanding how to use the money. The first thing you got to do is talk about the $100 has Speedway getting gas, and Speedway actually had this video on their screen that was talking about how they let you buy lottery tickets with credit cards. And I went in because I needed a pack of gum, and there was a lady there who was frantic, who was freaking out because her credit card got rejected when she was trying to buy like $150 for the lottery. She would find dozens and dozens of lottery tickets because this was her kind of hope of becoming successful. Spending all your money on lottery tickets or financing these lottery tickets is gambling, and it's a straight path to
It
broke.
is a
Not
blessing
only
to
are you not going to
bloom
win,
and
now you're going to
to
be spending
wither.
all your future paychecks
Your
paying
team
off these bad
destroyed
decisions.
the turret.
Wealth is a long-term game, and if you really want to know the secrets to not being broke and the secrets to becoming wealthy, there's 5 things that you need to understand. These are the
Does
5
it-
things you have to
Our turret has been
understand. First,
destroyed.
you got to stop living in a net zero life.
There's no
Second,
thought.
you got to
Turret is
avoid
under
the money
attack.
traps that are out there. Third, you need to know how to grow your money and grow your wealth fast. Fourth, you got to stop living in this game of the fake flex. 5, you need to understand the game of how money works. These are the 5 things I'm going to be going over in this video.
This
Make sure
is
you watch
not the end
video.
for us.
First, let's talk about living in net zero. Net zero lifestyle is keeping the majority of people broke and holding the back. The way it works is like this. The majority of people think, okay,
Your
I
team
have
destroyed
$100 in my bank
An
account
enemy
now.
has
And
been
if I have
slain.
$100 in my bank
Double
account,
kill.
that means I can go out and I can spend $100 on a pair of shoes because I have $100 in my bank account. If I have $100, I can be able to
Tears and
spend
laughter.
$100.
Such
This is net
extravagant
zero
graces.
thinking, because if you have $100, you can spend $100. This mindset kills people's wealth, because if you have $100, you cannot afford to spend $100. This is why I keep saying that your income now will determine if you're going to
Shame
become
on
wealthy
you.
or not. And your income is now what's going to determine if you're going to get broke or not. And what you do with your money, if you make $100,000 and then you spend $100,000, guess what? You're broke. If you make $20,000 a year and you spend $20,000, guess what? You're
I'll
still
be the
broke.
beacon that
Very
guides
first thing you have to
Necrokeep through the dark.
understand is you are not allowed to spend every dollar that you have, because some of your money needs to be saved to protect you from
Killing
emergencies.
spree.
Some of your money needs to be invested to help build your
Double
wealth.
kill.
Okay, if you have $100 in your bank account, you cannot afford to spend $100. This becomes even more true
Triple
if this
kill.
money that's in your bank account is not yours. So when I was in law school, I had this friend, or acquaintance rather,
We hold our
that
ground.
was in my law
Has
school
been
with me.
slain.
And I was talking to him one day about what his plans were for the evening, and then he told me that he was going out to buy a really nice umbrella. I thought it was kind of funny that his evening activity was to buy an umbrella, but I understand it because, we're in
You
a
have
rainy
slain
area,
an
it's not
enemy.
fun to go walk
Wiped
around when it's wet
out.
outside. So I told him that I bought my umbrella from Home
Mind your
Depot
steps,
and
visitor. For Necrokeep is cold and hostile.
this is what he
Fear.
was in law school, okay? He did not have a job. He told me that he wanted to go out and buy this really fancy $400 umbrella. He showed it to me on his phone. And I was like, $400
For one day, Necrokeep will pay our bill.
He told me that he had this extra cash from his student loans in his bank account, so he wanted to use this money to buy and invest in this umbrella. So when he goes to
My people
he's
are
gonna
calling
look
to
really
me
fancy
for
with
the
this
fallen.
$400 umbrella in his hand. That is net zero thinking on steroids. Now you assume, oh, I have $400 in my bank account, even though this money is not yours. This is money from the bank, and you feel like you need to spend this money because this cash is in your bank. when you live this lifestyle of spending every dollar you have in your bank, whether it's your money or someone else's money,
Killing spree.
and when you have the means to spend
Before you
every dollar you have, they don't make you money like an umbrella. You are going to be broke. The solution to this net zero thinking is to create a system where you are not allowed to spend all of it. You have to create a system where you know this is what a rule of 5 is. Like, rule of 5 says you cannot buy 5 of them, you cannot afford 1 of them. So if you have $100 in your bank account, and we're talking about things you don't need to survive, if you have $100 in your bank account and you want to go buy something, you can only afford to buy something that costs $20. Because if you have $100 in your bank account, this $20 thing is what you can afford to buy 5 times over. So if you cannot buy it 5 times, you can't afford to buy it 1 time. Second, let's talk about money traps to avoid, because the majority of Americans are broke and will never build wealth because they're spending money they don't have on things they don't need, which will never make them any money. Sometimes this is obvious. Like I just gave you that example of that person I knew in law school who had money from student loans. This money was not his, this is the bank's money, and he spent to buy an umbrella, right? But sometimes this money trap isn't so obvious. When the majority of people say that they can afford something, what they actually mean is I can make the monthly payments. But that's very different than being able to afford something. The simplest example of this is your cell phone, okay? Your $1,000 cell phone that you have in your pocket. So many people are financing this phone on $20, $30, $40, $50 monthly payments because they cannot afford to pay $1,000 for a phone. So they think, oh, I can afford this phone because I can pay $50 a month with 0% APR financing, so I'm not paying any extra money in interest, and I can afford this phone, right? But this is a money trap. What happens when you finance something that you can't afford, that you don't have the cash to buy up front? Well, now you're going to be paying this $20, $30, $40, $50 a month for the rest of your life, because every year you're going to get into this trap of buying a brand new phone, and then secondly, you never have the pain of this money leaving your wallet. You think that you just bought a $1,000 phone, but you never had the pain of $1,000 leaving your wallet. All you saw was $50 leaving your account every single month, and so you think now, oh, I bought this $1,000 phone and it's only costing me $50 a month, so let me go and buy this $2,000 laptop that you can't afford, but it's only $85 a month, so now you buy that. And then you buy the sofa that you can't afford, because that's only $75 a month, and now you're spending money on things that you can't afford because you think you can live way up here, but you can actually afford down here. You thought you were being financially smart by paying 0% APR, but you just got paid. Now you're spending more money on things that you don't need because you never had the pain of money leaving your pocket in the first place. The reason 0% APR is so more money businesses is because when you buy things with 0% APR, there's never had the pain of money leaving your bank. So now you can buy a whole bunch of things that you didn't know that you could afford because you can't actually afford it. All you think you can afford is paying. There's a difference between being able to afford a smartphone and being able to make the monthly payments. There's a difference between being able to afford a brand new car and being able to make the payments. Being able to afford the things you buy versus making the monthly payments. Always the first two things that happen.
Hope will find a way, even when all is forlorn.
All so you can grow your money and your wealth faster. If you follow the first two things that just happened, you avoid net zero, you avoid these money traps. What you're going to see happen is all of a sudden you're going to find extra money in your bank out of nowhere. Now, what you want to do with this extra money is you want to put some of it to work. That way you can grow your wealth faster. There's 2 terms you need to understand: assets and liabilities. I've talked about this before, so if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure you do that. But what you need to understand are assets are things that put money in your pocket. Liabilities are things that take money away from your pocket. Your $400 umbrella, your shoes, your lottery tickets, all these things are liabilities. If you're spending money on something and it's not putting money in your pocket, or if you're not buying it for the sole purpose of making money, it's a liability. The interesting thing about liabilities, though, is liabilities make you
Welcome
rich.
to Mobile Legends.
You buy a fancy wardrobe, you buy new shoes, you buy a new purse, you buy a new
5
cell phone,
seconds
you buy a
till
new
the enemy
watch.
reaches
All
the
this stuff
battlefield.
makes you look rich.
Smash
And
them.
this is what broke people do. Broke people
All
spend all
troops
their money
deployed.
on liabilities. That way they can
It is
look
love
rich,
that keeps
but they're
us
actually
alive.
product rich. You look rich, but you're actually broke because you have no assets. If you want to become wealthy, you got to flip this around. You need to start spending more money on assets, which are things that pay you for owning them, and invest once you have more money coming in, then you can afford to buy these liabilities. The first time I really understood the concept of assets and liabilities was when I first started investing in real estate. I was running a and I had money in my bank account, and I really wanted to buy this BMW 3 Series, and I really wanted to buy a 3 Series.
For
It
necro
looked
keep.
sweet, it would look really cool in my image. But then, for some reason, I was reading books, and every book talked about how wealthy people can do. I had no idea what real estate investing was. I didn't grow up with real estate investing family members. But I decided, I wanted to try this out. So instead of using my money to buy a car, I ended up buying a small house. This time, I doing it about it. But a month later, after renovating it, I rented it out for $600 a month. And after paying all expenses, I was at $250 a month in profit every
I was
single
supposed
month.
to
And I
marry
didn't have
him.
to physically do any work
And
to
this
get
gown.
this $250 a month. This was passive income I was getting because I spent my money buying an asset instead of using my money to buy a liability, which was a car. Assets are things to put more money into pocket. These are the things that
It
you
is
can
a
buy
blessing to
if you want to
bloom
build wealth.
and to
Liabilities
wither.
are things that make you look rich, but they keep you broke. So now, if your goal is to become wealthier faster, you got to spend less money here and buy more assets aggressively. And it doesn't have to be a ton of money to start. You can start with $5 a day, $5
Shame
a
on
week,
you.
$20 a week, whatever you have. You just got to make these small incremental investments. That way you can buy these assets and build your wealth faster. The reason it's important for you to be buying these assets instead of just keeping your money in your bank account is because at the end of the day,
Mind your
when
steps,
you're working to
visitor.
make money,
For
you
necro
really
keep is
work.
cold and hostile.
When your money is just sitting like this. It's flat. Your money isn't doing anything. The amount of money you have in your savings account today is going to be the same amount of money you have in a year.
There are
assuming you don't take
memories.
any money out and
Time
put it in,
does
right?
not
If your
erase.
money is in your savings account, it's just sitting there. But you can't basically always be working, right? You want to live this life.
I need to tend to my people.
This is where assets come in. When you invest your money, you can see your money go like this. It grows quicker than your
I'll
money
be the
in your
beacon
savings
that guides
account,
necro
and it
keep through
grows
the dark.
without you physically having to earn this money. You're using your money as a tool, kind of like a magnet, to go out and attract you more money. And if you want to attract more money, you need to be buying more assets. The more money you put in here, the more money you get. Just a little something to help you out with this if you want to build more wealth faster. Is to follow a 5-to-1 rule, which says for every $5 you spend on liabilities, you spend $1 on assets. If you spend $5 at Chipotle,
There's no
spend
farther for us
$1
to
investing in Chipotle. You can spend $100 at Amazon, spend $20 investing in Amazon. Now, if you want to learn more about money management and investing like this, now you can grow your wealth faster. We have a free ebook on money management and investing that you can read for free when you sign up for our financial education emails, which are also free.
This is
Get our
not
free
the
ebook and
end
start
for
reading
us.
our financial education
Take
emails by clicking the link here or by clicking the link in the description below. Anyway, our financial education emails are separate from our financial news emails. Fourth, you gotta stop living this fake life.
My people
We're
are
living
calling
in a
to
day and
me.
age of social media where people live their lives based off of what they see on Instagram. Look, more than half the stuff you see on Instagram is fake. There are people that are going into debt to finance a perfect Instagram page because people are going into debt, borrowing money to buy things that way they're
Tears
looking
and
for this.
laughter.
This has
Such
turned into a
extravagant
game of
graces.
chicken, where people are competing against each other to see who can go bankrupt first. Just because somebody has something doesn't mean they're Remember the things that we talked about in this video? The majority of people are broke. Just because your friends are showing off the things that they just
For
bought
one day,
doesn't mean that they can
necro
afford
keep
to
will
buy
bathe
it.
the
Life
daylight.
doesn't have to be a competition. These big companies want it to be a competition because they know that if all your friends are competing against each other on what you own, you're going to spend more money on these companies, but it doesn't have to be a competition. You don't need to go out and spend all your money to make every company around you rich. Use your money to build your wealth. This brings me to number 5. You gotta understand the game. Everybody in the world is after your money. Okay? This does not mean
I need to tend to my people.
deserve to exist. This is just how the game works. Businesses want your money. Apple wants you to buy their AirPods. Lululemon wants you to buy their leggings. Chipotle wants you to buy their extra guac. What you need to do is create this filter, okay? The whole world is asking you for your money. What you need to do is have this filter in place. That way you know what is worth spending money on and what is not spending money on. Because right now, the majority of people do is they don't have this filter. When they see something they like, they can spend their money. They don't have this filter. You need to know what's worth spending money on and what's not worth your hard-earned money. The goal is not for you to live small for the rest of your life. Okay, the goal is for you to live bigger.
Our
and expand
turret
your
has
means.
been
But the only
destroyed.
way you can do that is if you have more money for yourself, that way you can invest more money into yourself.
It is a blessing to bloom
Have more money
and
attracting you more
to
money,
wither.
and when you have that, that's when you can go out and live a bigger lifestyle. Buy the nice things, you can have the nice cars, you can have the bigger home. But in order to do that, you need
The
to make
enemy
sure
has
you afford it
slain
first.
the
That way you're
turret.
not stressing about the things. The goal of
I'll
the
be the
game
beacon that
is
guides
to have
Necro
wealth
to his own.
and buy all the nice things you want without worrying about the price. But you can never do that if every time you make a buck, it's constantly just going out. You
Your
need to know
team
when it's
destroyed a
worthwhile to
turret.
do but this also goes both ways, because once you understand the game and you understand how money works, that's when you're going to want to improve your financial system, because now you understand, okay, I need to use more of my money to buy assets, investments,
The
different things
silence
that
of
pay me,
Necro
and if you
Keep
really
is
want
too
to ramp it
cold,
up, you can
too
use more
loud.
money to put into your financial system. That way you have more money to invest, you have more money to grow your wealth faster, and the only way you can do that is to come onto this side of the equation. This side of the equation, learn
For the fallen.
this is going to depend on what you like. Maybe you're just going to work overtime at your job. You're
Fear.
going to try to get a promotion. You're going to try to get a raise. That way you can earn more money. For some of you, this might be starting a side hustle. Maybe you have a side cake business. Maybe you become a freelancer. You just have this thing on the side that you do.
I was
to earn more
supposed to
money.
marry
That way
him.
you build your wealth faster.
In this
And
gown.
For some of you,
Your
the
team
entrepreneurial
destroyed
wealth,
turret.
this is
Turret
the
been
opportunity
destroyed.
for you to
Memory
go
of the
out
fallen.
and understand how to create value. That way you can create a product that people need that improve people's lives. The name of the game is not spending money whenever you can and then trying to find steals or deals that are not actually deals. One time I was at the mall before the
Our turret
pandemic
is under
happened,
attack.
and there were these two girls in front of us in the line to check out, and they said, would you like to store credit cards because you're going to get 15% off your order? I think it was
Shame on you.
maybe
Has
it
been
was
slain.
penny. And these two girls were like, yeah, that would be great. And then the cashier starts looking up the credit information, and these girls were literally praying that they would get approved for the store credit card.
My people are calling to me.
That you're approved, they literally started dancing with joy, right? When you have that, you are just being bombarded with these places, these companies that want your money, and you're just giving it to them as soon as you have the opportunity. You gotta stop living like that. You need to understand the game. That way you can keep more money for yourself and build your wealth first. Everybody loves it when it's your payday. You love it when it's your payday, the Gucci store loves it when it's your payday, and even the government loves it when it's your payday because, I mean, they get paid too. But what ends up happening to so many people is payday comes, you get excited, you start spending your money, and by the time next payday comes, you spend almost all of your money. Or maybe you decided to splurge on that extra guac, and now you have no extra money. Alright, well, that's right. In this video, I want to go over 5 things you need to stop doing when you get paid, starting with number 1, when you get paid, stop wearing your
There's
money.
no father
The problem
for
is
us.
most people have the priorities in the wrong place. Everybody says that they want to get wealthy, but most people will have no investment and no wealth, and then spend all their money on cars, clothes, and food restaurants. The average new car payment at the time of recording this video in America is
There are memories.
$716
Time
a month.
does not erase.
That means you're going out and you're financing this $50,000 car, paying $760 a month just to drive the car. This doesn't include insurance. It doesn't include maintenance. It does not include your premium gas. But you're paying $716 a month to finance this car, and in 5 years, this car is not going to be worth $50,000. It might be worth $20,000 because your car is not an asset. Your car is a liability, meaning it is losing value every single day. I mean, the moment you stick your key in the ignition
Tears
and drive
and
it off the lot,
laughter.
it
Such
loses like 15
extravagant
to
graces.
20% of its value right there. So now you're paying interest to drive this car, and this is $716 a month that's going directly to your car company to make it richer. So what happens now if you play out this scenario? 5 years from now, you're going to go out and you're going to realize you no longer have a car payment. So what most people end up doing is, instead of now driving a car without a car payment, is now
For one day,
go ahead and get a new
Necro
car.
Keep will
Because
bathe
it's easier
the
to have a car
daylight.
without a car payment. And so now every month for the next 35 years, you're driving around in a car and you're paying a car payment month after month
Our
after
turret
month.
is
But
under
if you don't
attack.
own assets, if you don't own a rental property, if you don't own stocks worth as much as your car,
This
your
is
priorities
not
in
the
wrong
end
place.
for us.
Because what happens now if instead of taking the $760 a month and putting it into your car, you take this money and you put it into the stock market? And you're not trying to pick stocks, you're just throwing the money into the stock market, and you do this for 35 years. Because you're going to drive a car for the next 35 years as it is, and you can get just an average, actually a little bit below average return of 7% a year. And yes, you can just put your money into an ETF, the stock market, and get these types of returns. Doesn't mean that your money has to grow by 7% every year, but on average, we have seen the stock market grow by more than 7% a year over the last century. What does this mean? Well, after 35 years, you would have had $1.2 million,
If it
but
helps.
instead, you got a car that's worth nothing. So now you gotta decide, would you rather have the
Such a
$1 million,
painful
or would you have a
goodbye.
car that looks
enemy
cool,
has been
but really
slain.
isn't worth much? That's the first C, cars. The second C are your clothes. Just take a look at the numbers. The CEO of Louis Vuitton, Bernard Arnault, is arguably the richest person in the world. How did he get so rich?
There are memories
Because he's selling
time
the dream
does
of
not
wanting to be
erase.
rich, when in reality, he's the one that's actually getting rich. You're going out and you're buying the Louis Vuitton. And then you have the third C, which are the cute restaurants, because nowadays we live in a society where the phone eats you first. Now what do?
There's
Go to
no
restaurants,
fun
not
for
based
us
off of
to
food, not based off of how much you paid, but based off of what the aesthetics are. Then we can post on Instagram and show to all your friends. Don't really care. Hold on, go out here, let me take the picture really quick. Now make sure you hear me on this. There's nothing wrong with driving a luxury and exotic and expensive
The
car.
silence
There's
of
nothing wrong with wearing
Necrokeep is too
expensive
cold,
clothes. There's nothing wrong
too
with going
loud.
to very expensive and nice restaurants. But there is something wrong with it if you're struggling with your money, if you don't have any investments,
Leave.
you don't have any cash flow, and now you're trying to spend all of your money on these places, and you're wondering why you're not wealthy.
Ally has
It's
been
because your
slain.
priorities are kind of misaligned here. The second thing I want you to stop doing when you get paid is stop letting your money die. This is a part of the hard investment, so when the average annual returns
I was
by
supposed
asset
to
class
marry
between
him.
the years of
this
1985 and
enemy has been
2020.
slain.
And what you'll see is that the investments or assets that provided the best returns were things like stocks and real estate, and then even bonds. But at the very bottom of this list, you'll see cash, which provided the worst returns. Now, I have the article down in the description if you want to read it.
Here's
But that
another.
data ended at
You've slain an enemy.
2020, before we saw the huge run-up in inflation in 2020, 2021, and into 2022, and even into 2023.
Your team
So why
destroyed
is
a
stock
turret.
providing such a low return? Because the value of your cash, your savings, is being devalued because of inflation. I mean, you've seen the prices of your rent, to your groceries, to your housing costs, to your travel costs, to your healthcare costs, to your car costs. Everything has grown so much. And so now if you take your cash and you just save it, and it's sitting there and it's not growing, or it's not keeping up with the higher cost of living or the higher inflation, then your savings are effectively
Does it expire?
You
saved.
destroyed
And
a
this is where
turret.
it's, yeah, it's better to save your money than to dump it into this is where now there are better things that you can do with your money if you want to actually grow your money. That means if you're putting money aside to save it, you're taking the first step, which is great. But now you gotta stop being scared with that money and stop being willing to take risks with that money if you want to see your money grow and actually grow you well. And that means taking some of that money and putting it into investments.
This
And these
is not
investments
the
can be
end for
stocks,
us.
It can be real estate, it could be into your own business idea. Now I'm not going to go into how to start investing in this video. I have tons of videos like that on my channel, but my team have recent videos to pick up this awesome ebook on how to build wealth as an investor that you can read for free. This ebook starts
For
by talking
one
about how do
day,
you build the mindset of an
Necrokeep will
investor,
bathe
and
the
then it goes into how
daylight.
do you save the first couple $1,000s, and then it goes into different ways to start investing your money. Whether if you want to invest in cash flow, not in cash flow, how do you invest in stocks, versus real estate, and then it goes into how to spend your money smartly, then it goes into earn your money smartly, then it goes into how do you protect your assets. This ebook is completely free. If you want to read this ebook, I got the link down for free down in the description. Third, stop blindly following people. It's no more just you've seen people selling stock with big systems. And simple systems can make a lot of money very quickly. So what I want you to do here is that something worth having. Period. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Building wealth is hard. Period. Investing your money takes time. Period. You need money to invest. Period. And this is where you have to understand that if somebody's selling you this idea of how you can
Despair
make
will
six
be
figures by doing
dispelled.
nothing but sitting on the beach and working 4 hours a day, well, there might be something wrong with that, because why isn't everybody else doing it? Now, here's some reality. Building wealth is very difficult. It takes a lot of work, it takes time. Building a business is hard work, it takes time. Maybe there are ways to do it without working hard, but I haven't been able to figure that out yet. The way that investing works is that you earn money, then you take money that you did not spend, which means you gotta make some
Life wasted.
sacrifices. That's hard. And then you take the money that you didn't spend, and now you're gonna take this and put it into an investment. That's also hard, because now you gotta figure out, where do you invest it? How do you invest it? What is investing? And that means it's also risky, because there's a chance that you can lose your money, because of course investing
Your
has
team
risk.
destroyed
You're never
a
guaranteed to make
turret.
money when you invest. In fact, you will probably lose money at
It is a
some point.
blessing to
Every
bloom
investor does.
and to
The
wither.
goal is to make more money than you lose. But you have to be willing to get over the massive hurdle of if I lose $1,000, then I'm worth the market earn. But that's a part of the process, because if you don't invest in money and you don't take that risk, you're never going to see the potential gains. Yes, it sucks losing money, but that's a part of the process. And this is where now you have to be willing to invest in yourself. And if you keep throwing money into these ideas that will hopefully give you these amazing returns without the effort, you're going to be making somebody else rich at your expense. And this is where it's very important for you to remember you worked hard to earn this money. You are going to be the one that works to protect it and grow it the most. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't get a financial advisor or a financial planner. They can be very helpful. However, you are the person that worked to grow this money. Don't just throw it into random places hoping that you're going to be able to turn rich by following this amazing advice that you found on the internet. You got to be willing to trust your gut and understand that nothing worth having comes easy. This doesn't mean that all online education is bad. I mean, we have some amazing online education at Briefs Media where we go over things like how do you build wealth, but it's not easy. That's the key that you have to remember. The real secret to success is working hard, taking risks, learning, and keep getting back up. I think it was Dave Ramsey who originally said this, but there's a saying that goes, most people are spending money they don't have to buy things they don't need to impress people